Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm kind of having a funny time here today already in the studio. We are networking with everybody. We're live on Facebook. So hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. My first guests have been on with me once before. We did a shorter version. Now we're doing a longer version. I'm really excited to bring on with me Stephanie Barretto and Kirby Woods. They're the owners of Love, Light, and Healing Center. Welcome back to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourselves and what you all do. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm the acupuncturist. We are for a whole wellness setup where we can help everybody with acupuncture, with massage, just keep everybody healthy and happy.
Healthy and happy. Who doesn't want to be that? Who, right? And I have to say, I'm going to start off right off the bat with something, okay? So I'm having an issue with my esophagus for some problem, for some reason, and they were saying to me that you can do acupuncture on that. I'm like, oh my God, would they, where would they put that? I'm thinking in my throat. You said no. Let's talk a little bit about how they can help me on stuff like that, but also where they would have put it and all that kind of stuff.
So here's the thing that gets really crazy about acupuncture in general. We very much look at a disease by a pattern, and by a pattern it means what kind of things are going on in there. So for instance, somebody comes to me and they say, hey, I have these allergies, and these allergies are this sneezing and this really thin, runny, watery nasal discharge. I look at that and I say, okay, this looks very much like a cold, so I'm going to do things to warm interiorly. I'm going to do things to build the defenses so we don't have any interaction with that exterior pathogenic factors is what we call them. And so what we're looking at is how a disease progress looks, how we present it, and what we do with it from that regard. And then we go into the points that are meant to address whatever it is that we're seeing, right? So if we're kind of weak and we're getting a lot of colds and allergies and things like that, then that means that the environment is beating up on us a little bit. So we need to strengthen the interior and help keep those things away, right? So then I'm going to look at things that I can do to strengthen that interior and help those defenses.
How does acupuncture help with maybe a cold?
Quite frequently, very quickly. So what really happens, we talk about oftentimes these external pathogenic factors and our internal defenses having a kind of tug of war, and the symptoms are that tug of war. So sometimes it's the exterior pathogenic factor is strong, and so we tend to get really run down. We really get maybe we have some other stuff going on there, so the tummy's not very happy, we have a cough, things like that.
How about viruses?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how about that, guys?
Quite picture. It's a huge, rich tapestry of culture in the Asian world. Chinese medicine, we think, goes back maybe 5,000 years. It's quite a huge length of time. And so there's several different ways of looking at disease. In the earlier parts of, especially in the herbal part of the medicine, there's a book, the Treatise on Cold Damage, Shanghanlun, and that talks about all diseases are predominantly cold that invade the body and they create disease. Sometime several thousand years later, maybe 1,500 years later, in a different part of China, somebody else kind of said, wait, heat actually creates diseases. So they had the Wenbing Jiao, which is a febrile disease, and they're looking at things, and so we kind of have to keep shifting our perspective of what it is that we're looking at and how we're going to treat it, and how we can do that. Viruses we tend to think of as more of a heat pathogen, so we want to clear that heat out of the system. We want to help the internal pathogen, the internal pathways to bolster up and to kind of resist that a little bit more. But we also need to get fluids. We need to get the heat that has been replicated inside to push that back out, to get it back out and out of our bodies and into the world again.
Acupuncture. A lot of people know about what acupuncture is, but sometimes they're a little bit leery about it because of the idea of the needles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the needles and the sizes they are and that you use and how wonderful it is.
So we have a picture, I believe, on our social media. It's a standard hypodermic needle. It's actually the very smallest hypodermic needle that's often used to draw blood, for instance. And there are, 20 of our needles,
I think
like
we
at the end of
put
it.
22 in in the little tip of it.
Yeah.
Of
So
ours.
you can put 22 of a needle inside the tip of yours, so that shows you how, I mean,
They're
Or
like
the
the
other way
width of a
around,
hair.
yeah.
They're so small.
they're tiny, tiny, tiny.
Tiny.
And when they go in, they don't really hurt.
So we'll have there's sometimes a little bit of a sensation. It's more a pinch maybe, or something like that, but not even that. Like there's some kind of, as it goes through the skin itself, the skin is pretty tough. What's really cool about acupuncture is it's completely different than what you expect. When we get blood drawn or we have a shot, there's that sharp, stabby ouch. With acupuncture, you're kind of like, well, that wasn't it. Ooh, what am I feeling now? And so you can have this, you place the needle and there's this lightning bolt effect, or all of a sudden this little tiny needle you wouldn't expect anything feels like that area weighs 1,000 pounds and you couldn't move your arm and couldn't move your leg. There might be a warm sensation there, like kind of a tickly. What is that all about? And
Sometimes you'll itch.
Mhm.
You'll start to itch. Sometimes you'll feel absolutely nothing.
Well, here's the thing about acupuncture. It's wonderful for so many things, and we're going to open up the lines of the audience for everybody to get entered into it. And they've got a few things that they're going to offer, and we're going to talk about each one of them. One of them is an hour massage. Everyone's getting entered into win either the hour massage, which you know what that is, so we're not going to talk about that too much, okay? Or we're going to talk about nadda and what that is. It's a 1 hour of nadda. And also you do this emotion code, which we're going to talk a little bit about that. A lot of people right now are dealing with a lot of stress, a lot of emotions. What a perfect time to be coming on and talking about some of this. We've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered into this. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. You could check them out on their website. It's Love, Light, and Healing Center AZ.com. They do free consultations with everyone, and also they're rated with the Better Business Bureau. They're located at Val Vista and Baseline in Gilbert, but you also will go a little bit mobile in the East Valley with your acupuncture.
Correct.
So we're going to it's open here for everyone to call throughout the rest of the show. That's till the whole thing is over, and get entered into win this. It's whether it's you or someone that you know. Give it to them as a gift, whether it's a massage. Maybe it's this nadda. Let's talk a little bit about that before we go to a break. What's nadda? Nada mas. What is it?
It's so originally it was thought to be a process to help people overcome addictions. So it stands for National Acupuncture Detox Association. It's a group that came out of Wyoming approximately about 25 years ago. What it really is 5 needles in each ear that are meant to bolster the internal processes, so how we think and how we interact with this world, in such a way that the addiction we can withstand. We can withstand going back in those ways, and we kind of change our points. So we decide we're done with alcohol, for instance. We have a way that we can control this. We're done with smoking. Okay, that's great. We have a way that we can control those cravings and help through the process of weaning off that nicotine. In the last 16 years or so, we've now used it around the globe for relief of stress and trauma. So we have an earthquake in Puerto Rico, or we have a hurricane in Louisiana, or we have whatever it happens to be. Acupuncturists Without Borders are using the same needles to help these folks in these situations and to help them overcome these kind of traumas.
So here's something else that, I think it's awesome. Now these are just 5 little needles that go into each ear.
Correct.
That you can use for like a detox, right? It could be for stress. So it's not just detox. I want to get that straight out there right now. So you get entered into win either the 1 hour massage or the nadda, which is pretty awesome to try. A lot of people have been dealing with, as reaching for different types of things that they can do, whether it's for, some kind of drinking, maybe you're dealing with some kind of drug issue, maybe it's you, maybe it's someone that you know. How long does it take after, you have this nadda? How many times does it take to usually do to feel the effects of that?
Everybody's kind of different. Everybody is different, right? You're going to feel the effects, I think, right away. But you're going to have to probably be seen depending on what your specific
And
need
everybody is different, so you don't know. But it's a great way, and I love it for the stress part about that too. Again, a lot of people are dealing with that. We're leaving our lines open here throughout the rest of the show for everyone to get entered into win either the 1 hour massage, some nadda, or some emotion code. We're going to try and do that emotion code stuff. We're going to talk about that when we get back. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866 536-1100. Their website is Love, Light, and Healing Center AZ.com. Their phone number to call, it's 480-465-8402. They do free consultations. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau. Call in, get entered in to win, 602-277-5369. So we're going to keep it open a little bit here while we talk to Facebook out there and, kind of keep it going. Of the nadda, let's talk a little bit more about that, and we will, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that and then go into the emotion code. I want to talk, how do you like it, by the way? A little
So
different?
far, so good. I love it. It's
a little
awesome.
different, right? So what, for you, when you're talking about nadda, okay, when someone comes in for that, usually who is it that does that? Who's your client on that, usually?
We've had actually a lot of people come in. So we had one patient come in. This is a cool story. She came in for one treatment. She wanted to just give up smoking. 2 days later, took all of her smoking apparatus, whatever, gave them away, went in, put them all in a box, went to her work, said, hey, these are free for anybody who wants them, whatever. Give them all away, walked away, and never came back.
Wow.
And her
Except
friends
for the
told her,
problem.
you'll never, it's hokey, that's never gonna work. And she had been trying to stop smoking
For like
for
20
years.
Yeah.
So you see how you could possibly, if you were doing this more on a regular basis or whatever you did, that somebody that you brought in,
Yeah.
that was like a little kudos to you kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and express her experience with it.
Right.
See, that's kind of neat to be able to do too.
I wish it worked like that every single time, but she is like definitely our.
Yeah, but that's the same for anything
Yeah,
we do.
exactly.
For anything, like you said, it's different for everyone. And the massage, obviously. You want to talk a little tiny bit about massage and what you do? Anything different?
I am not the massage girl.
So I'm gonna leave it alone. I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
We can talk about the massage, but he would have to talk about muscles because I don't know.
That's okay.
I don't even know.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll leave it just the way we're doing it, okay?
Perfect.
Can you do me a favor for tomorrow? Please don't put those two together. Okay, babe. Yeah. Well, welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Stephanie Barretto and Kirby Woods. They're the owners of Love, Light, and Healing Center. We're talking a little bit about, acupuncture and how that works. This is called nadda, which I love the name of that. But honestly, you were telling me at the break, we were talking a little bit about a story of a woman who was smoking. You said she did it one time, and she had great response to that, where she could just the next day said, that's it, I'm done. We're live on Facebook, so everybody, hi out there too. We're going to be sharing the show in just a little bit. So let's talk a little bit more about the nadda and what makes it so different and wonderful. And we're going to leave our lines open here for everyone to get entered into win. We've got either the 1 hour massage that you're going to get from them. Everyone would love that too. But also the nadda, you've got a choice of that. Or also this is an emotion code, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. And our number here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Go ahead and talk about the nadda a little bit more.
It's pretty phenomenal. It's interesting to think about, as a point prescription, you have what we call spirit gate cinnamon. We have we have the kidney, we have the liver, we have the lung, and we have the spleen. And as a system, why the spleen? Why does that do? Well, in East, we look at it as a digestive organ. In fact, in some of the newer texts in Chinese medicine, it's sometimes referred to as the spleen pancreas. So we think about all of the enzymes and all the processes that go in, and we relate that back to the spleen. So here it is, where what we actually are able to create from the world around us, what we can literally digest and reproduce, right? We have the liver, which is all about destiny. It's all about fulfilling a task, something that we were given, that is heavenly given, that we are meant to do. This thing that feels wonderful for us to do. We do it so naturally and wonderfully, we don't even think about it. We talk about the kidneys, which is the storehouse of our willpower, right? And when we're dealing with stress, we're dealing with any kind of addiction, we're really pitting our own willpower against this thing that's driving our life, and we don't want it anymore. Right? And we want to strengthen that, give them the courage, the strength, the fortitude to literally resist that, to do something different, to change their stars.
And by putting in the needles,
we activate how the body naturally, how the psyche, how the body, it's all, we are not three separate beings. So sometimes we're a being of mind, sometimes we're a being of body, sometimes we're a being of spirit. No, we're all three in the same space,
yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so this holistic medicine looks at that and puts them all in that same space and treats that from that perspective. Start at the ground floor and allow things to grow naturally.
And from what I understand about acupuncture, you could be having pain or dealing with something, a migraine or whatever, and they might put it in your toe,
mm-hmm.
as opposed to where you would think, just like me, I thought that it would probably be in my throat,
mm-hmm.
and you said no, probably in the leg somewhere, the thigh. I'm thinking, wow, it's so weird how it works, but it's awesome. It's very, very intriguing. And we've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered in to win either the 1 hour massage or this nadda, which is awesome, whether it's something that you are dealing with stress, maybe you are wanting to detox, maybe it's you, maybe it's someone that you know. And then, of course, this emotion code, which we're going to talk about now. And our number here is 602-277-5369. Check them out. It's Love, Light, and Healing Center, AZ.com. Okay, so emotion code, what's that all about?
Oh, that's good stuff. I think I'm going to kick this over to you. I think you want to talk about it.
Emotion code is really cool because it's basically energy work. So we're kind of going to connect with your energy, right? And sometimes we have things happen in our life that are just too much, and so we kind of take those emotions and they stay stuck. They become stored. A lot of times we don't even know that it's happened. And the problem is that they stay in that spot. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? So what is it doing? It's festering and causing problems. With the emotion code, we have the ability to help kind of take those emotions and clear them out, right? It's kind of nice because if you've had things that are difficult in your life that maybe you don't want to rehash and relive over and over and over, this kind of gives us the ability to clear it without having to stay stuck in that moment.
And again, it's very natural. You're not taking pills or anything like that. This is something where you come in. How do you work with that? Do you feel their energy? Do you do it with massage and energy? How does that work?
We actually use muscle testing. So I'm not so good at muscle testing. I mean, I'm good at muscle testing, but I'm not great at like explaining the way the muscles work.
Okay.
So I'm going to pass it to
So really, truly, what we're looking at, we are beings of light and energy, and that energy extends outside of our physical body, right? So we can have, sometimes it's called an aura, and that's an easy term. Let's leave it out as an aura. The emotions, when they get stuck, they'll warp that aura, and when they warp it, there will be changes in there that we can feel. And so we break the questions down into simple yes or no answers, right? Is there a trapped emotion that we can release? And what will happen is, if we're testing on ourselves, if we're them in proxy, or we're actually testing on them, a yes will be a good, strong, those muscles they can resist us pretty easily. A no, which the muscle goes really weak, and they don't control it, they don't understand what's going on, like it just kind of happens. And so we get the idea, okay, there is one, there is not, is it here, is it there, is it this, or is it that? And then we use a little bit of a magnet theory. What we're going to do is we're going to actually literally interact with the energy that's extending outside from our body with these magnets, which are pure energy.
That's got to be neat.
And immediately you'll see wonderful results. You can see pain go down to almost nothing. You can see somebody come in and they're extraordinarily agitated and just hummingbird. I can't handle this. All the way down to, wow, I can breathe and I'm okay. And that's what really gets exciting for me. It's really cool to see people change in a very short amount of time.
Like when somebody sits down and does that with you, when they come in, they're clothed. I mean, how does it look?
It's very non-invasive, so they are completely fully clothed. They stay that way the whole time. They'll make. We have one patient that likes to lay down flat, like it's she's going in to see an old school shrink kind of thing, like laid out flat and don't really
lay down on
address
the
me.
couch for me.
Yeah.
Every time.
Other times we have people that would like to have like more of a conversation, so they're sitting like we are right here and kind of in front of us. And we want them to be comfortable. We want to be part of the journey, but it's their journey. They want us to guide them and help them, but they want to walk it. So we help them with that.
So, and a lot of people are dealing with a ton of emotions right now. What a great way to release all of that. Some things are past life regression. Does that work for that too?
The instructor wouldn't necessarily say past life regression. He would say, as beings of energy, we have and connected to a universal intelligence, as a higher power, to whatever you want to say. And so these things can be passed from generation to generation. It's actually...
So there's that energy in there, and it's a release. And I was talking to somebody earlier about tapping and things like that. There's so much that has come out in recent years. Wonderful, though this is obviously extremely old stuff that you do from way back, but awesome for people to be able to reach out and find if they can find something that can help them. Because so many people are right now. They're looking at different ways of what they can do. We're going to leave our lines open here for everyone to keep on calling in throughout the rest of the show to get this. It's either the 1 hour massage, everyone loves that. Also the nadda, which is the acupuncture, the 5 little needles within the ears that everyone can, maybe you want to get rid of stress that way. Maybe you want to detox. That's an awesome thing to do too. Or the emotion code, which is also releasing that energy. Maybe you're going to want to, once you try one, you want to try the others. I'm absolutely positive. And so our lines are open here throughout the rest of the show for you to call in. Our number here, 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. You can check them out on their website. It's Love, Light, and Healing Center AZ.com. They do free consultations. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau. They're located at Val Vista and Baseline and Gilbert, but they even go mobile throughout the East Valley. Call us here. It's 602-277-5369.